First of all, what do we know about what the president is targeting? Is it campaign promises? And does that mean that he is willing to jeopardize a stock market, but also the economy to achieve it?
Well, I think that the key thing here is that, we have seen over the last 14 months that the president is going for campaign promises and pledges. But on this issue, on trade, on tariffs, Donald Trump has been very committed to a protectionist agenda for a very long time. We've talked for a long time about the fact that this is really where he differs very much from the Republican Party. So I think that this is not simply a whim. It's not simply talking to his base. Undoubtedly, that's there. But this is a very significant move. I think it's likely to continue. And remember, what we're seeing here now with the departure of Cohn is this battle that we've been talking about between the globalists and the nationalists. Who would win out? I think that when Steve Bannon left the White House, there was a feeling that maybe it was the globalists. But now it looks very much different with Navarro being elevated and Gary Cohn walking away on the back for a long-standing number of issues that he's fallen out with the president over. But this one, I think, was the straw that's broken the camel's back, and he's gone.
So, Howard, do you worry about this trade war escalating? We understood from people within the White House that Gary Cohn was the one that could have put the brakes on a possible escalation. And if you are worried about it, why are the markets remaining so calm about it all?
Well, I think one does have to worry about it, but I think the focus has now switched to Europe and whether the European response will be a measured one, hoping that this will be another phase in Trump White House policy that passes. I rather hope they do give this a bit of time because the experience of the last 15 months is that stuff comes into focus in the White House and it goes out of focus again. But I think if the European Union reacts very aggressively, then I think this could be very worrying. But I guess the markets at the moment are hoping that this is one of those electoral gestures and that it won't lead to a lot of follow-up.
Sir Howard, good morning. Please explain to us, as an arch internationalist, why the White House needs an internationalist. I see no evidence that Mr. Trump actually cares about a multilateral world, that he cares about free trade in any way. What is the value of another Gary Cohn within the administration?
Well, there's not only the White House, of course, involved in American foreign policy. I mean, in addition, we have Congress, but also, of course, as we've seen in the financial area, the Fed is, in fact, fully engaged in lots of international bodies. And in spite of some threats from people close to the White House that the Fed should pull out of the Basel Committee and all this kind of thing, they have no intention of doing so. And so I think it really is important for the White House to have somebody who has an international focus, if only to know what other parts of the American administration are doing, because other parts of the American administration continue to be committed to an international approach to problem solving. And that's the good news we have to cling on to.
Leslie, what is your study of the history of basically Republicans, Democrats, free traders, internationalists waiting out this president? That seems to be percolating within the zeitgeist right now. We're just going to wait this guy out. What's the history on that?
Well, the history for the last 70 years has been about a commitment, ebbing and flowing, to internationalism. But I don't think we're seeing a calm, steady waiting it out right now. I think we're seeing a lot of pushback, both within the United States, within Congress on this, from many corporates who don't want to see these tariffs, who certainly don't want to see an escalation, and very obviously pushback from Europe, from Canada, and elsewhere. So I think that the structure of internationalism, the institutions, the array of interests there make it hard for the president to stay this course. But, Donald Trump does have this sensibility, which is about not really caring, saying, what was it yesterday? Trade wars are easy. They're not such a problem. But the history would suggest that the foundations of internationalism have been built up, that they're invested interests, and that it will be very difficult to walk back without paying a very significant price.